guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Tampa Honda, of course in Tampa, Florida. And guess what? We have that new redesigned vehicle that's got a lot of people talking. This is it. This is a 2023 Honda Accord. This particular one is your gateway into the Accord. This is the LX trim. But before we get into one of the best top-selling sedans ever in the history of the automobile, let's talk about what's going on here. 1976, two big things happened. The birth of the Honda Accord, and it also happens to be the year that I came into this world. Now, what's interesting is that over the years, the Accord has always been that top pick for not only customers, but also for magazines and the magazine reviewers. This vehicle has been that Car and Driver top 10 vehicle over 30 times. Now, what's interesting, now that we're in the 11th generation of the Honda Accord, there was a lot of pressure on Honda because the 10th gen was getting so freaking good. A lot of people had high expectations. We already brought you the top of the heap, which would be that sport touring trim. Now I want to do it Rady's Ride style, just like we always do, where we bring you the other trims, this being the base trim. So let's go ahead, let's dive into the LX and see, is it better than a base Camry? Because that's the other arch nemesis of the Accord. Let's go ahead, let's find out. Right off the bat, this color, I'm digging it. It's got a nice amount of metallic flake to it. It's called meteorite gray on this Honda Accord. Now, the interesting thing is, at the front end of the business, with this being an LX trim, you're still getting LED headlights, LED turn signals, and daytime running lamps. So across the board, from entry to top trim, full LED lighting, at least up front. You do have flat black accents instead of more traditional gloss black on this LX, especially as we work our way down where you have that functional corner air curtain. It is all flat black, and I'll show you, and if you haven't seen the review to the top sport touring trim, you'll find the difference very easily. I'll leave the link of that video at the end of this one. But a lot of flat black, and you know what? I don't mind it too much because it's gonna take a better beating over time from sand and rocks and other debris. Now, as we come across the front, this has really been a hot topic, a hot debate topic. Is this grille? Now, on the LX, just like the other trims, it is gloss black, fully functional. You got your horizontal slots, and then you have these V's that are all intertwined within the different levels of the grille. A lot of people are saying that it looks like a older Ford Taurus. Let me know how you feel about the grille. It's growing on me a little bit, but I don't know. There was just something about the 10th gen, like I said, that really I felt was where the next gen was going to take us, and this is definitely quite different. On the lower portion, you have the horizontal slots, fully functional and fully flat black along the bottom. So the good news is on the LX trim, especially on the bottom portion, you have that consistency in materials. Now, when you get up onto that long, low-slung hood, the reason why I say it's long is that there's actually more space from the A-pillars forward than on the previous gen Accord. So that kind of changes the proportions a little bit. But I'm telling you, this meteorite gray really looks spectacular. It's got more metallic flake in it than your grandpa's bowling balls. His pair of bowling balls, much more metallic than his bowling balls. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working? Wheel and tire setup. So this is what you're getting standard stock on the LX. It's a simple metallic silver wheel. So no wheel covers, no hubcaps or anything like that, but a very simple style wheel, 17-inch. You can look at that two different ways. You could say, wow, that's a really small wheel, or you could say, wow, smaller wheel means I have a little bit more sidewall, which if I hit a curb, there's a less chance of damaging the wheel. There's two ways to look. Is the glass half full, or is the glass half empty? Let me know in the comment section how you live your life. But that's how Honda rolls on this new Accord. Split spoke design, of course, still front wheel drive. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of these tires? 225 on the width and that meaty 50 series sidewall. The good news is everything is painted from top to bottom. Now, as we come down the rest of the side, you are gonna get color matched on the mirror caps. You are gonna get some shiny bright metal work only along the top, color matched on the door handles, and then you have the flat black along the lower sill area. Interesting, like I said, the proportions, more length, and it's a wider vehicle than the previous Accord. Now, continuing towards the rear, very, very simplistic design, but I think one of the areas where they got it really right was on the taillights. Before, those old lobster claws, the stapler, whatever you want to call the taillights on the 10th gen, those are gone. Now what we have are these LED brake lights, and then you'll see how they do the LED turn signals, all built into the same housing. They even integrated the reverse lights very cleanly with LED lighting. I also think the way that they sunk the Honda badge, I don't know, it just cleans up the whole back, and I guess that's the one thing, definitely cleaner lines, and you could look at that two ways. You could say cleaner, it's more boring than previous gen, or you could say cleaner, it looks classier. Let me know how you feel in that comment section. There's a little bit of a kick up on the rear trunk, and then as we drop our way down, just like we started, you have your Accord badge, and then you have the simple flat black along the bottom of the bumper. But why don't we pop the hood and see what the heck is powering this LX trim Accord? All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod, but you know what? Since 1976, the Accord has had a prop rod, so I'm not gonna zonk it, but underneath the hood, this is the only turbocharged engine available on the new gen Accord, and I think that's the biggest zonk I could give, is that no longer is the 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine available. You are left with this 1.5-liter turbocharged engine, same stats as last gen. 192 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a CVT. Every Accord is mated to a CVT for 2023. 0 to 60 in about 7.3 seconds. It weighs around 3,291 pounds. MPGs is where you come out the big winner. 29 in the city, 37 on the highway. And if we're comparing this to the Camry, remember the Camry design has basically been around since 2017. And it's interesting to see they haven't really done much with the Camry. I'm wondering what's the next step for Toyota. Accord has shown their hand, so to speak. But why don't we go ahead, let me know how you feel about the 2-liter being gone in the comment section. But let's fire this up and see this Accord in motion. Guys, we're inside this 11th gen Honda Accord. Like I said, that entry trim, the LX. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm looking for a mid-size sedan. I want to go against the grain. I don't want to be like every other person out there buying some type of crossover SUV. I've always liked the Accord. I remember my grandmother used to pick me up from elementary school in her Accord SI, and people used to think I was the coolest kid in school. How much is this LX? Very good question. MSRP, $28,390. Let's see how it stacks up to a base Camry. To the door panels, you're still gonna get that same clean style. Just like on the exterior, door panels, soft touch material throughout. The good news is no gloss black anywhere. Switchgear, all flat black. Armrest is semi-soft. It's kind of like this weird rubber material. So not my favorite, but I've seen worse. Door pocket, pretty decent size. You could get 2 Arby's all beef and cheddars with extra horsey sauce and a bottle of Mountain Dew to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, this is where things get really nice. Soft touch, just a little bit of gloss black goes a long way. I love the metal mesh that hides all the AC vents. You got your controls that are easy to operate and have a nice click. Even the way they did the stitching right here above the glove box. A lot of brands don't do that. Then you get to the infotainment system. This is one of those areas where you could see this is where they cut to bring the cost down. This is a 7-inch infotainment system. It's got your wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and stuff. It just, besides that, that's all it does. It's black and white. You hit the menu screen, there's your menu. Not A lot going on. If you want more, remember, the Accord goes all the way up to a new 12.3-inch screen. Throw it in reverse. There's your backup camera. Does have trajectory. It's on the grainy side. I wish they would have upgraded that with the new generation, but I do like the way you could change all the angles. That's a real good plus. And then it goes right back to where we started. We got our start-stop button that illuminates bright red, because red means race. We have our single climate control knob. This is not dual climate, so you got your temperature, you have your different modes, and then you have your blower fan switch. I do like the way everything has a gloss on it. Gives it a nice touch, some LED lighting in the back. USB-Cs, 2 of them, which is a nice touch. And you have the official Honda Twinkie tray. You could put 8 Twinkies. This is gonna control your CVT transmission. You do have the ability to put it in S, which is sport mode. That's where the S is. It's right there. S for sport. Econ, if you need to study up on what the economy is doing or get better fuel economy. 2 cup holders. I do like the way Honda's doing the key fobs. They do a great job in that. They changed it, made it a little smaller. You do have remote start. Soft material on this armrest. I wish they would have put this on the door armrest, but the center console armrest is awesome. Open it up, you got a 12 volt in there, and you got enough room for 38 packs of Series 1 garbage pail kids. So if you have atom bomb, sell that on eBay. It's going for big money, but you could keep 37 packages of garbage pail kids in there. And then the seats, they're cloth, but you know what? They're looking good. I like the way they did the center material, the stitching, manual controls, of course, for the passenger and the driver on the LX trim. And you do get a decent amount of headroom in here, which is a comforting thing. But why don't you go over the business end? I want to show you behind the digital, not analog, digital gauge cluster in this LX. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Like I said, plenty of room in this new Accord. You do have your manual seat controls that are easy to figure out. Seats are actually very comfy, very supportive. Steering wheel, of course, with it being an LX trim, you do have the rubber style material, but you go higher up the trims, you could get the leather, a little bit of gloss black. It is a manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then you have that 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster, all new for the 11th gen Accord. Like the way they give you that even in the LX trim. But other than that, the layout, I feel, is fantastic for getting to everything. But let's get into the back seat and see if your passenger is going to be happy you bought an Accord over a Camry. All right, guys, we're inside the back seat of this new Honda Accord, and this is really where the Accord shines. I mean, the amount of room back here, yes, the Accord got larger, but you're really reaping the benefits as a passenger, not even close to the headliner. Now, the backs of the seats don't have pockets on the driver's side. That's okay, because remember, this is an LX trim. I just wish they at least gave you a 12 volt back here, or maybe even be more generous and give us a USB. But knock, knock, who's there? Nothing. It's just a bunch of plastic. You do have a supersized pocket on the passenger side, which is good, and easily be able to put, I would say, 4 bags of Tostino's pizza rolls. I used to love those when I was in high school. I could put 4 bags away very easily, but you could keep those bags right there. Like I said, nice and comfy, and they even went to the extent to give you this very Charmin soft center armrest with 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, let's check out the trunk of this LX Accord. All right, guys, time to pop the trunk, see what's happening. You open it up, you're gonna be greeted to a ginormous amount of space. This proves that sedans are not dead and that you can still haul a bunch of your junk with this vehicle. You're looking at almost 17 cubic feet of space. I love how low the cargo floor is. They give you these nice little hooks to hang your groceries so that your melons aren't washing around, rolling around or washing around and getting squished. And then I like the way they got this one handle here to fold down the rear seat. Now on the LX, it's one solid drop. So it's not a 60-40 split, one solid 100% on the pull. But you know what? I'm 100% ready to go on throttle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we're inside this 2023 Accord LX, and right away, it's gonna feel very familiar to the previous gen. And one of the main reasons is that you have the same engine, same transmission, and nothing has changed there. The things that you're really gonna enjoy are things like the digital gauge cluster. The seats, even though they're manual, are very, very comfortable, and they're easy to set up to fit your particular body type. But from the inside, it feels like an Accord should feel. Lots of room, lots of space without it being too big. It's just on the outside, it really is gonna be up to your personal taste what you think about the new look. But just like I told you earlier, getting to the infotainment system well within reach, the AC controls are really great, and boy oh boy, plenty of room for the backseat passengers. Now to put it in sport mode, because we're gonna go on throttle here, you put it on the S, on throttle, here we go. It's got those simulated shifts. That really helps with the overall experience because it brings the revs down, which normally in a CVT, they just stay pegged, and it gives you that loud engine booming drone sound. With this, it does help it bring that sound down to an acceptable level, and it, for the most part, feels like a traditional automatic transmission. It just, from a dead stop, that's really where you feel it the most. But really, when it comes to the great Honda driving aspect of the steering, that's always there. It's interesting because no matter what vehicle I drive that's Honda, whether it's a Fit, whether it's an Odyssey, whether it's a CRV, an HRV, or this new Accord, they do a great job when it comes to steering input and how that overall steering feels. All right, we're gonna make a U-turn so you can see how easy it is to navigate through the city streets with the new Accord. Like I said, very good feel on the steering, and then from a slow roll, right now I'm doing about 18 miles an hour on throttle. It's got a pretty good torque delivery for a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. And what's interesting is that it actually feels pretty responsive for the type of setup that it is. Obviously, you're not going to win any drag races, but that's not what this vehicle is about. Really, where you're gonna come out on top is going to be those great MPGs. Now with the LX trim, remember, you don't have blind spot monitoring and stuff, so just something to think about. You got to step it up to the EX trim to get that. But visibility is really great, and I'll take it out of sport mode. It drops the revs to about 1500 RPM, so I'm doing about 53 miles an hour, around 1500 RPM, and that's what's going to help maximize those MPGs. But definitely one of those types of vehicles that if you're looking for maybe a starter vehicle, maybe a vehicle that's a A to B type of car, or maybe something for one of your kids, this might be the perfect setup, especially at the price point. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review. I hope you got the information you needed. We're gonna get back to Tampa Honda and wrap this one up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys. Been another great day here at Tampa Honda. Of course, like I said, in Tampa Bay. Definitely got to thank Sam and the rest of the crew getting us access to this new LX trim of the Accord. Let me know what you think. Has Honda done the right things to this iconic Japanese nameplate, especially on the LX trim, for what you're paying at the end of the day, or are you going to go with a base Camry? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rights family. We got to give it up to Stephen Flood Photography. Thank him for his hard work in that comment section, and let it be known that Stephen actually ollied a skateboard over a Honda Accord many years ago when he was in middle school. So he knows he's got the skills. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.